I'm gonna put a little heat on it. All right, let's get this lower ball joint out. We'll get a little penetrating lube on it, kind of let it soak in just for a minute or two. Then we'll get the rest of these out. The upper control arm, we're going to go with the whole control arm. And the bottom is just going to be, like I just showed you, just the lower ball joint. All right, I'm using an 1.5 inch wrench to get the inner and outer tie rod end off. It just kind of screws on. Well, I thought summer was here, but damn shit, today's like in the 50s almost. Bring on the heat. As much suspension work and things that I do around here, I think the thing I like to do the least is literally Pitman arms. I just never did like Pitman arms. Always a pain in the butt. Well, we're taking out the sway bar links, so I'm gonna get the whole sway bar out of the way when I do it. Make it easier on me. Might as well, right? I know it's not necessary, but sometimes to get this out here, you have to remove it anyway. So being I'm doing the links, we're just gonna take the whole damn thing out. Not worry about it. But look how sloppy that is. Where are we at? We're right here, right here. Can you see that right there? This is a 14. You dog. You're a dog. Why are you doing this to me? You make me pull out every tool I got. So I'm not sure how many of you guys follow CrossFit or not. But we just had a guy from our gym where I'm at Allgrit, and he is a Masters, and he actually made it all the way to the games. He came in 30th in the Masters in the world. That's pretty damn cool if you think about it. Now, if you don't follow CrossFit, you won't know what the heck I'm talking about. But basically, it's a series of workouts, and you compete against everybody in the world. So it's kind of pretty cool, actually. Holy crapola. Let's get another tool. You know, believe it or not, everything we're replacing, these damn bushes still look good, so I'm not gonna mess with them at all. You'll get used to it, John. I'm not really talking to you. And they're a 10. Get on there, bitch. You bastard, you. What you bleeping about over there? Come on, man, damn. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen up this side, because when I go to do that Pitman arm, I don't want this bitch in my way. Okay, thank you. Believe it or not, I understood what he said. And again, I'm getting this out of the way because I am doing an idle arm also. So this being out of my way is going to be a plus. So the Pitman arm is a 19. Nope. Oh, you're wrong. Wrong. Idle arm, 21. 21. I'm taking this out of the way because you don't really have to. I just don't like shit in my way when I work. Shit. We're gonna go ahead and take a loose from the idle arm from the passenger side now and get it down. And just like that, we're out of the way. So I'm definitely debating. A lot of times I can get lucky and we can pop this nut off here and I can get that off. Even though it's kind of in line, this kind of in your way. But as rusty as this stuff is here, I don't know if I'm gonna get that lucky. I may just have to loosen up, take the 2 bottom bolts out and go up there and loosen up the top one and just pivot it some to get it off. I think that's what I'm gonna do. They're a 21. The top one we're just gonna loosen up, just enough for that thing will pivot a little bit. So in all honesty, I did soak it down with some penetrating oil, and that was a big plus. But what I'll do is, see, now that you have it like this, I'll go in here like this, I can hold this up like that, go in here and get a nut on this, socket on that, zip it off, and get my tool in here to press it out. It's an 1 3/8 nut, and don't lose the lock washer. They said this is supposed to have over 500 pounds of torque. I have yet to believe that, because every time I've tried to use it on something like this, it does not work. I think Snap-on has some false advertisement on that one. So if you look right here on the Pitman arm, inside here, there's 4 splines that are fatter than the rest of them. As long as no one moves that steering wheel and takes us out of alignment, we know how it came off, just like this. And that's exactly how it's gonna go back on. So just make sure no one moves the steering wheel and you'll be just fine. All right, I got everything I want off the car for right now. I'm gonna go ahead and get the parts ordered. We'll get them here, check and make sure they're right, get them on the car, and get it to the alignment shop. All right, we're gonna start with the wheel bearing. That part number is a 515054. The bolts of the wheel bearing are a 15. It is a lot easier when you're taking wheel bearings off to do it while it's on the car, but like I say, we had to pull this whole knuckle assembly off, so I'm just gonna take an air hammer, go behind it, see can I get it out. Well, that was easy enough. My guy's making a ton of noise back there. But you know what I always say? If you're not making any noise, you're not making any money. The next thing I'm gonna put on is the Pitman arm. You're gonna come with a new grease fitting. Make sure you put it on before you install it. It's just easier to get to that way. Once you get it up in there, we'll grease it up later. All right, don't forget when you're putting the new Pitman arm on, you got those alignment pins. All right, let's go ahead and get the gearbox bolts back in. All right, the Pitman arm is a K6534. That's going on next. Let's do take 2 on that one there. The idle arm. This one comes with a grease fitting also. Word to the wise, go ahead and install that grease fitting and go ahead and grease it up. It's a lot easier to do it now than it is when it's sitting up there like this and you got to fight behind that frame rail. So when you go back with the new bolts, you get new cotter pins, make sure you use them. And when you get them to German specs, good and tight, put the cotter key in there. Or the cotter pin, did I say. All right, we'll go ahead and get it lowered down and get the lower ball joint on and the upper control arm. All right, going back to the lower ball joint, the part number is a K6541. So before they had the tools that would press the ball joints in, we used to press them in by hand. We just manned up, went like this, and just fucking pushed on it till it was in. You believe that, right? When you're doing this one, you want to make sure that everything is nice and straight, so don't go up cockeyed in there. Cockeyed, that's right, I said cockeyed. 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 You don't want to go up there cockeyed. She looks straight. Bada bing, bada bung. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. There is a snap ring that's got to go on it, and we need to get a pair of snap ring pliers. Hard to believe though, back in the day I did that shit by hand. Beat that motherfucker right on up. These snap ring pliers suck. They're not very good. They ain't supposed to be bent. One of my guys was using it, said they had to have them bent. Let me see if I can find a better pair. So I got this smaller pair that don't fit worth a crap. Guess I'll be buying me some snap ring pliers, huh? Once you get it on, just take and make sure, just kind of make sure it's in there. And we are. This also has a grease fitting. Go ahead and stick it on now. Come a little closer. Come a little closer so you can see. There we go. So you can see me drop it. What in the world? It's quiet. Too quiet, y'all. Need to have some extra noise. Why are you so quiet? It's quiet. Woo! It's too quiet. I'm just saying. Nobody making no noise. Why? Oh, you spreading Bondo. Got it. Got it. Got it. You ought to make some howling noise. Where'd he go? Go ahead and grease this one up too. Just easier to do it now than it is later. It don't feel like nothing's going in there. And we can't have that. We got to have grease. Gotta have grease. All right, we're good. She's good and full. Took me long enough, right? Stop judging me. All right, it is time for the upper control arm. There's one more 10 millimeter that holds the brake hose on. Get it off, get it off. Now the trick is, because I send these to my son-in-law, when I put them back on, I try to get them really close to where they were before. Super close. So what I'll do is I'll mark it with a marker. There's a little pin right here. I'll put a little mark on this one and a little mark on this one, and that is where I try to get it back to. And get a little hammer and just tap it. And let it fall. We're back with the new stuff. Sometimes you just gotta get a bigger hammer. All right, well, let's get this knuckle on. Get a couple threads on it so it doesn't go anywhere. We're kicking butt now. Get a pry bar, get it in place. Get the nut started. Moving right along. Let's go ahead and get it bolted up. Don't forget your cotter keys. We just got the sway bar back up in place. I left it loose because we're going to put the links on there. Sway bar link K8631. So one thing, don't make the mistake I did when I was messing with it. I had literally put the sway bar itself in the opposite way, and it was going downward, not upward. So you can easily do that when you're doing something like this. Just be careful. Probably because I had to stop 500 times, but other than that, we're good to go. Sway bar links are a bitch sometimes. The next thing going on is a rotor. Boom, chakalaka. We'll go ahead and put the caliper bracket back on. This guy's not gonna have to act with a suspension that's as tight as this one now. It's gonna be like it's brand new. We got to run it behind a little bit yesterday. I was supposed to already have this done, but I got called off like 13 times to go do other things. And today, I've had to stop to figure out what's wrong with a car. It was an accident, and now half the lights aren't working. I think it's a module. But that's for another video, right? So my daughter and son-in-law, they have a YouTube channel. It's called Nomadic Habit. He's a traveling welder. He goes all over the country. I'm not really sure what he welds. Tube welding, doing something like that. They just got in the other night and they were living in a van, a Sprinter van, built it into a camper, and now they bought a bus and they're remodeling the bus, making it a camper. And when he come in the other night, the brakes were grinding, so we pulled the back end off and looked at it. If he don't have it back together when I get home, I'll show it to you, but he'll probably have it back together. But oh my God, them brakes were gone. There was nothing left of them brakes. Now I'm happy. So I've said this in about 13 other videos. Go back with just a little bit of caliper grease. You're not painting a Picasso, you're just coating it. I've seen people put so much of this crap on that it just gets everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Then they end up having issues, wonder why the brakes aren't working correctly. It's because you got so much damn caliper grease on it. I still haven't put the tie rod in on this thing yet. That's the last thing I'm gonna do on this side. Now on the other side, we're not doing a wheel bearing assembly. It was only this side making noise, and I am one of them type people that if it's not making any noise now, you don't want to mess with it. Let it be. All right, we only have to go in a little bit, guy. Come on. That's all she needed. Okie dokie. Make sure you don't forget to secure your brake line on top. The next thing we're putting on is a wheel speed sensor. Your new one should come with all new clips going in, by the way. So don't be one of them guys. Just stick it in there and wire tie it up. Use your clips. That's what they're there for. All right, we're on our test drive, and while I was driving it, the service light came on, ABS light, and the brake light came on, the red brake light. So I called the customer up and I was telling him that the lights are on. He said, yeah, they've been coming on. And I asked him, did he want to fix the car? And he said, no, he don't want to fix it right now. He was mainly concerned about the steering because he does a lot of towing. And I told him, I said, well, if you do a lot of towing, you might want to check out what the brake problem is, you know. Not so much the ABS, but I'd be more concerned about the red brake light because that will actually fail state inspection in Virginia. But other than that, the steering wheel's nice and straight, doesn't shimmy, doesn't shake, and everything's looking good. So that's it for this video. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Catch you later.